like it was really working. And a few weeks in, I was getting good feedback from the families, the teachers were having a good time, and the students were also enjoying themselves, and I could see that it was working in my class. I contacted the headmaster, who was a mentor of mine, and I asked him, I see results, I feel like it's going well, but how do I prove this? How do I let the community know? How do I let my bosses know? Or how, via what measure are we to determine success here? And he said, if you want people to know how well you're doing, invite them in and let them see it. And so we opened up. We let people come in. We started holding events. We started bringing people in so that they could understand the why of all the things that we were doing and like see the kids in action. After 2 years there in Tanzania, that headmaster who hired me had an opportunity to become the founding school director for the Dominican Republic's very first gifted and talented public school. And I communicated to him about this, and he invited me to come help him be a part of that founding team in starting that school, which was built in a small town in the center of the Dominican Republic. The type of town that would not make sense for many people to think that the top public school in the country is there, but it was there. And not only that, it was the brainchild of both that headmaster and a very influential politician of the region who really helped us to be autonomous of the government bureaucracy and give us a chance to experiment with education. We went to that town and they gave us an old abandoned warehouse that at one point had been an industrial zone for the area. And 15 to 20 years prior to that, places like American Apparel or Victoria's Secrets had thousands of employees that were working to manufacture clothing, but due to changes in tax law and other things, a lot of these factories had closed and the work had been shipped to different countries overseas. So here was this sort of a blight on the community, this giant space that was sitting there, a sign of the deterioration of the area, and it was given to us an opportunity to revitalize it and change the vibe there. I prepared for the first day. I got there, and as we started collecting students and trying to build that founding class, I was told that these students had been taking English classes for the last several years in their public schools, and that all of these students were A-average students. So I sort of prepared. I was going to be the head of the English department there. So I started preparing the scope and sequence for my class around a group of intermediate level English students, only to find out that when I got there, that's not what the case was. The vast majority of the students there were starting at the basics. I had to immediately flip my expectations, being given, again, because of our experimental nature in that school, being given no real expectations from the government, no oversight, no support, and in fact, for the first half year, no texts whatsoever. I was able to build something based on the needs of the students. Again, over and over again in my career, being what some might see is saddled with a lack of support or structure, but looking back on it now, it becomes being gifted this opportunity to create without restriction, without limitation, and build it for the kids. And build it we did. I believe more than 70% of the students in that founding class had never read a full novel at that point. And yet, 3 years later, when those students graduated, they went on to